Geographer Yifu the one said that place is security and space is freedom. He thought that although we all crave freedom, we never really go beyond what we already know. And because of that, we can't really claim to know the spaces we inhabit, the places where for the first time ever, more than half the people in the world are living. Adventurer, author, filmmaker and teacher Daniel Raven-Ellison confronts some key urban issues of today in a project called Urban Earth. The idea is to forget what we think we know about cities, to show them as they really are, and in a way that most of us never see.
We're basically living on islands. We live in a bubble watching TV at home. You get your mode of transport or you walk to work and then you're in another bubble and then you might go for dinner in another bubble in the city. And so you get the impression that you somehow know the city.
In 2008, Daniel explored 3 of the biggest cities in the world for Urban Earth: Mumbai, Mexico City and London. He set out on foot across its sprawling metropolis through some of the most dangerous communities in the world, from one extreme edge to the other. He took a single photograph every 8 steps. Each picture was taken with a camera pointed directly in front of him to avoid being distracted by the things people are conditioned to find interesting.
That's a cute dog. No matter who you are, rather than going on holiday somewhere and saying, oh, I'm going to go and see the same museum that every guidebook and every person tells me to go and see, I'm going to walk across the city and see what it's like for the people who live there day in, day out.
Urban Earth is about documenting truth in cities, about showing them as they exist and not as people choose to see them.
Urban Earth's all about going out, having an adventure and seeing what the biggest habitats on our planet are really like. Cities, the places that we live in.
Although we share these urban spaces with millions of other people and walk the same streets every day, we are actually more disconnected than ever before. The bigger cities grow, the more disconnected we seem to become, despite technology doing its best to keep us linked together. Daniel believes that the media is to blame.
The media creates all sorts of problems that just really need ironing out, because whenever they tell a story that's bad about a place, that's what sticks to people's minds. It's like if you go out for a night out, you tell your highlights, you tell the low points where you got mugged, whatever else. You don't tell people all the normality or the usual stuff. And what Urban Earth does is it starts to address that by saying, well, look, we're going to walk through a city and see what it's really like, away from those peaks and troughs that the media always try and tell us about.
By taking the pictures and then putting them back together as stop frame films for each location, Daniel hopes to bind cities together and cut through the tangled web of urban experience.
Whenever the media portrays, like Mumbai, for example, it's the train lines, the slums, and then the skyscrapers. London is the city of London, and then maybe some council flats. Mexico City, it's the idea of, like, I don't know, the big squares and that sort of stuff. Because we have these sort of tour books and, I don't know, different guidebooks that tell us to go and visit certain places or to see certain things. And so we somehow sort of fix in this expectation that when we see images of a place, we should equally see those things.
Each film acts as a portrait of the city as a whole, breaking down the boundaries that we and the media have built in our minds.
In Guadalajara, in Mexico, a group of 100 people walked across that, the second largest city in Mexico. And for them, a group of, by British standards, very moderate people walked across the city, became a very political act, because for those people, it was about showing and exerting their level of freedom. Now, what we're doing to ourselves in this country, we've already got our freedom. We're seeing our freedoms eroded, in which people are scared to walk through each other's communities because of the fear that the media have driven into us. Or we're scared to go into each other's communities because of what people might say or think of us, which is completely twisted. We need to be engaging with each other and walking around each other's communities and talking to each other to reduce conflict, to sort of bind our society together. Yes, you can reflect on the history of a city and its cathedrals and all that sort of stuff, but really what fascinates me is what's happening now and what's the future of the place that so many more people are living in.
Daniel is driven by his urge to explore, to shed preconceptions and discover places that you wouldn't normally go. You have to forget what you think you know and explore the city in its idiosyncratic glory.
I guess the way in which I do this is quite systematic. It's just walking along every 8 paces and taking a photograph, because I try and be really true to the idea that I don't want to be biased at all. But there's all sorts of themes that transcend, that go across cities that are really exciting to explore. And when we went across Mexico City, people were following things like graffiti or hairdressers or dogs or children. Someone else was had a bit of wallpaper and doing rubbings to try and sort of see how sort of tiles on floors change as you transect a city.
Urban Earth is an adventure that he hopes others will take up too.
Adventure's become this thing that people see on TV. There's amazing adventures to be had, places that are completely unknown to us, right outside our doors. And we're just going to take the alleyway we don't normally go down and ask questions we wouldn't normally ask. And that is adventure, and that is what Urban Earth's about.
Anyone can explore cities, and we can understand them better by documenting the relationship we have with these spaces. That, to him, is what geography and Urban Earth is all about. Writing the land.